Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to Katowice, to round number 2 of the league, and it is right now, of course, the fantastic matchup. On the right, we got Arthur Zrowick with the Pikarom, and he is not stopping. Look at that. We see a choo-choo. There's a quick ball, there's a Pikarom, of course, turn 1. There's no way he can play a support. It's February 9th, and that is the date of that tournament. So, quick ball onto an energy, and he is looking for something. Of course, there's a Volcarona on the left, so that's Reshizard Volcarona by Camel and Dene. Right, so we see the Dene being dropped. Isn't it going to be played already? I don't think so. There are still options. I would say there's an energy option. There it is. Down goes electric lightning type energy. We see electro power just for laughs probably, and the Dene. So let's take a look at those fresh 6 cards for Arthur, what those cards are going to be, because those might be really interesting. That's a really good turn for the Pikarom. And ooh, down goes Coco from the top. That is really nice, having a Coco like that. I see Gear 3.0. We see some energy. We see some electro powers, I believe. He's thinking hard what he can do. At the same time, Camel can only sit. We are like 2 minutes into a game, and that was just Arthur doing his thing. So he's he's looking at it, and he's turn 1 using already using Tapu Koko's Ancient Dance, right? Dance of the Ancients. Oh, we see also Custom Catcher, and there's already turn 1, 3 energies on the board. Definitely, not having electromagnetic radar was a problem, right? But oh, you can hear them talking, you can hear them laughing about it. We can say Camel playing a Giant Herb. He has, let's take a look, mixed herbs, both mixed herbs actually, and well, that was a Cynthia, right? So we're gonna see a Shoveler, fresh 6 cards in his hand. Yep, there it is. To putting the GX marker when it should be, which is right over there next to the active Pokemon, which is Volcarona. We see Victini, Cherish Ball, Great Potion, oh, and Acrobike into energies. That is a great camera angle for that matchup. I'm not gonna lie, that is a great camera angle. Of course, Giant Herb is the stadium in play right now. And that was an Acrobike, so energy and a Giant Herb. Arthur tells Camel that he saw that he played the energy, that there was one of the cards that was energy, because of the way that he was holding the cards. Of course, that's something worth noting. You do have to hold it, the heart, so your opponent doesn't know, right? He has not known, he doesn't know, but in this matchup he knew. So Cherish Ball. Of course, great friendship in between those players. They played many matchups, many games, and of course, came with the custom Charizard map. And as I talk about the Charizard, down goes Reshizard onto a board from that Cherish Ball. Of course, again, they know each other quite well. They do trust each other. So it was fine. Of course, Camel, well, fun fact, he is now a professor or a doctor. I believe he's a doctor or a professor. I want one of those things. Giant Herb, okay, was not being used. And what we got from the top, we got a Fioni from the top. And a Pokegear. That is a really interesting turn right now, Fioni. So Arthur right now probably explains the Fioni. I will explain Fioni to you, my fellow viewers. So what Fioni does is when you use their ability, you put Fioni at the bottom of your deck, but your opponent has to switch their active Pokemon. Like, they choose, but they do have to switch. So that is a Pokegear. Let's take a look what he's got. Oh, there was nothing. There was no supporter card from that, and he desperately needs at least one, and I mean it. He desperately needs that one energy switch to switch that energy, to have the energy on an active Pokemon to be able to attack. And Custom Catcher drawing 2 cards actually, drawing into energy and what seemed like another electro power. That was an interesting play just to get those from the top of the deck. And a quick ball. Alright, are we gonna see a quick ball? There was okay. Are we gonna see he's thinking? Yes, the quick ball on the energy. What is he going to try to get right now? He's searching. We might see actually, Zapdos. We might see something else, or maybe that was just a play to play. Maybe another Custom Catcher. Okay, Jirachi goes on the top. He's thinking about Jirachi. Oh, you can see those thoughts just going there. So Jirachi or maybe Zeraora for the free retreats. Jirachi. That's a decision, and maybe this is going to be the crucial decision, right? It's a turn 2. I want to repeat to you guys, it's a turn 2 right now of this matchup. A fantastic game, fantastic matchup from both of those players. And, well, this time, hopefully everything is going to work quite nicely. And pass, right, so Jirachi being dropped and passing the turn. Kind of unfortunate turn for Arthur. Left with one card in his hand, which I believe is right now an energy card only, but he can actually start attacking next turn. He can play that Fiona. He can start attacking. Oh, that was just an energy attachment from Camel and pass. Oh, right. So now it is. Now this is the turn. We see a reset stamp. Okay, so we see a reset stamp being played. And this might be closer and closer to the end of the game. We see 1 energy on the Choo-Choo, 3 energies on the Pikarom, Giant Herb in play, Jirachi, Fiona, to checking out the Reshizard. Let's take a look. Welder, Giant Herb, Volcanion, mixed herbs, I believe. Okay, so Camel has options, right? Camel has options, but we see Fiona. We see Fiona being played. Well, that is definitely an interesting play right now. And 150 energy onto Choo-Choo. So definitely an interesting play. Oh, or the energy is going to go greedy on the Pikarom. I believe it's going greedy on the Pikarom, and this is not a great thing. Oh, you should never be that greedy. Arthur, what are you doing, mate? Like, you should never be that greedy. Oh, the greed is never a good option. It's never a good friend. And we might see this in this matchup, right? Oh yeah, all 6 right over there. Pikarom charged up, ready to go, bulky guy. But is this going to be the end? I mean, next turn, this is the play that might finish, right? That might be the next turn W, it might be the next turn win. But is it going to be, right? Is it going to be the next turn win? We know, as a viewer, right, as a commentator, we know that Camel has that Volcanion, so he might drop that Volcanion to avoid losing the game next turn, avoiding that GX attack. We see if, okay, Fire Crystal bringing back some energy. Oh no, that was a Giant Herb, right, so that was a Giant Herb being played, right, because he went for a deck, went for 2, that was a Giant Herb, and I've seen Arthur laughing about it. So yeah, that was a Giant Herb, not Fire Crystal being played, it was just being discarded. Welder, he's thinking about Welder right now, and we see the Welder being dropped. So Welder, 2 energies on Reshizard, so this means 230 damage incoming. 230 damage incoming. We see 150 damage right now on that Reshizard. Energy is underneath him. Oh well, next to him, but we know that it's there. Drawing 3 cards out of Welder, which is, I believe, Misty, which is Great Catcher, and the Pokegear. Pokemon Communication, Energy, Giant Herb, another Energy. Oh, there are options. There are many options right now for Camel. Like, definitely with this Volcanion that he has is not a bad play. Like, there's time, he's taking his time. Rounds are 45 minutes right now in this game. So down goes Volcanion, right? A really beautiful promo. And the coffee that I'm drinking is really good. So a beautiful promo. Like, he's thinking right now probably about that Great Catcher on maybe the Dene, right? The Great Catcher on the Dene. Definitely that would be a knockout, and that would be an interesting knockout. Okay, so what happens now? Like, he asked if you can just take it a little bit back, like a little bit backseas, just to play Pokemon Communication and go for something else, or to agree on that out of the pure friendship, and like, okay, it's fine, go for it, since Camille was not playing the game for the last 3 months. So he was like, okay, because you haven't played for so long, it's all good, it's all fine. After checking his discard pile, checking what he played, what is still in his deck, and down was Victini V, right? Victini V, a really powerful card if played right. Not only can bring back a lot of energy with first attack, but second attack for 2 Fire-type energies is powerful as well if you have Pokemon like Arthur has, Pikarom charged with 6 energy, because it says 30 for each energy on both active Pokemon. So this can deal a ton of damage, a lot of damage. That's why you should, that's why greed on that energy on Pikarom is never a good friend. It's never something that you want to do. Let's take a look what Camille is going to do. We're seeing a great catcher being dropped. He's thinking what 2 cards to discard, because that was a great catcher that he dropped. We noticed that, so don't worry, you don't have to. So that was a great catcher right now. So he has 2 options. He has, Choo Choo, and he has, of course, the Dene. Which one is he going to choose? And that was the Dene, right? So he's choosing the Dene. And a KO, right? So KO on the Dene. 230 damage, KO on the Dene, 2 prize cards, and that's Welder and a switch. Quite interesting. Like going, oh, what should I do? And he goes, of course, a Pikarom. Like, you go for Pikarom. Oh, Pokegear from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is going to be in those 7 cards? Let's take a look. Oh, and we see Magnolia. What a top deck. What a top deck, ladies and gentlemen. What a top deck. And of course, 2 Pokeballs out deck. There we go. Camille took those 2 prize cards. What a top deck for Otto. Wow. What yowie wowie, as they would say. An amazing top deck. So now Otto has 2 options. Either go for GX and actually, okay, we see an Acrobike. Oh, we might see a Zapdos here being played. So he has 2 options. Either go for the GX and knock out that Volcarona, and of course Reshizard. Alright, Lysander's Lab being played, or well, just do a full blitz, knockout, and put the energy on a Choo Choo to keep and have an attacker to still be able to attack. There's a custom catcher, a Thunder Mountain, so there are still options to do something. And are we gonna see a GX? That's the question. Are we gonna see a GX right now? Pokegear still in his hand. But what a top deck that was. I mean, what a top deck that was for him. We are 12 minutes in, and just full blitz, 150 damage. Oh, that might be a little bit risky on his side, actually. That might actually be a little bit risky, but he is taking those 3 prize cards right away. And of course, energy on a Choo Choo. So maybe that was just, him, because he has that Zeraora, that was, preparing his turn. Let's take a look. Camille only needs 4 prize cards. And something like Pikarom is only give him 3. So let's take a look over here. What we're gonna see, what we're gonna have. Okay, we got a Giant Herb being played. Lysander's Lab goes back. Maybe that GX was a better play. Hard to tell. I think I think that GX was the better play. I'm not gonna lie, I would go for the GX actually. We see Giant Herb being played again. The decks are getting thinner and thinner each turn. Each turn is a lot harder. A skateboard in his hand, in Otto's hand, of course, in Camille's hand. Oh, down goes Welder, 2 energies. Oh boy, that might be it for Pikarom, right? That might be it for Pikarom. Although I think he's just now realizing what Victini can do, and Victini can do a lot of damage. Oh, we can see some laughter. We can see some words that I can't repeat. But yeah, Otto just realized what this can do, and he's counting. Oh, there it is. Down goes Pikarom. A little bit of a, I said, greedy and cocky play with those 6 energies underneath without using that GX. And, well, that is it. That is a knockout. That is, I believe, like 300 damage at least, right? 270, actually. It's 270. 300, actually, yeah, because that was 3 energies underneath Victini. So Jirachi comes into play. Electro Power. A skateboard. We see energy switch. There's a Thunder Mountain still in his hand. Another energy goes onto, of course, another energy goes down onto Choo Choo. So we might actually see a GX finally being used. Jirachi, let's take a look. What we're gonna see, we got a Big Charm and a Big Charm. There goes a Big Charm. 30 plus HP from the big charm, so we might actually see this being attached to the Choo-Choo. We might see a Thunder Mountain and a GX finally being used, and a retreat onto a Jirachi, but that will be, I believe that would be a little bit of, well, that's a risk taking, but Otto is sometimes a risk taker, and you can feel that, you can see that, the risk was taken many times in this game. We might actually see maybe a Zapdos being played. He has that Zapdos in his hand. Thunder Mountain, oh yeah, down goes Zapdos. So we're seeing Zapdos being played right there. Alright, 190 damage, so actually no GX, and they're both at only one price card right now. So let me just do that. They're both at this one price card only. That is getting really interesting. Okay, we see Reshizard, we see a Volcarona GX. Choo-Choo. I don't know if the Zapdos being played, it's an easy target. Jirachi also an easy target, but as you know, Camille doesn't really play custom catchers, so maybe that's why he dropped it. Maybe that's why he thought about it. And now he prepares, he has the tools to use a GX attack for 250 damage. Giant Huff, is it going to be played? I mean, Camille has some options. We can hear other damages happening at different tables, so Fire Crystal, now Fire Crystal being played, 3 energies back from the discard pile, so we might see a welder play right now, Rider on the Volcarona. To checking his discard pile. We see players walking around. Some players are finishing their rounds, only 60 minutes in, but there are donks in the new format. There are a lot of donks in the new format. Actually, the new format is kind of preferable, right? If you have a hyper fast deck and you go second, well, you can deal a ton of damage and you can donk someone if they are unlucky. So we see Reshizard actually. So what Otto needs is one Electro Power. Does he have that Electro Power in his hand? Because that's going to be 250 damage, which is not enough to knock out that Reshizard. But also, Camille, 3 energies only. It's again not enough to knock out the 290, what I believe. Choo-Choo, right, with the giant charm, but he has the great potion. He has mixed herbs in case of course being put into paralysis state. So both at one price card. This is like really intense right now. Both at one price card. Okay, Volcarona's ability, that's 2 damage counters, so slowly chipping away the damage. Oh, this is getting closer and closer. If only, right, if only he could have used, this 300 damage attack. And that's a 200 damage GX. Okay, so he is like really going for that damage. So this is the one turn. This is one turn he has to now attack. This is the one turn for Arthur to attack to win the game. If not, Camille is down goes Thunder Mountain. Does he have Electro Power? Now Electro Power is a key. Does he have it? Are we going to see Electro Power being dropped? He is thinking. He is really thinking hard. Are we going to see Electro Power? Electromagnetic Radar in his hand. Electromagnetic Radar. He's browsing the deck. He's checking what he has. He has to find out. There is one. He's showing to kind of like, alright, listen, I have it in my deck. If I'm going to draw it, that's a game. So let's take a look. Those are 7 cards. What he's gonna draw from those 7 cards? Oh, and that's a Volkner! That's the top deck he needed. That's a Volkner. That's Electro Power. That's a GX. That's 280 damage. That is a GG. Oh my goodness, what a top deck that was. What a top deck that was. I mean, we live for top decks like that. We live for games like that. Oh my, ay Dios mío, as they say in Spain. I hope so they say that. My goodness, what a top deck, what a Volkner that was. The exact card he needed from that Pokegear. Oh, the exact card he needed from that Pokegear was actually there, and that's a 1-0 to Otto. They are talking about that because that was a really interesting game. That was a really lovely game, and we love games like that. Don't we? So wow, what a game, what a top deck that was. And we're 20 minutes in, so do still have at least 25 minutes to go. We can see those different techniques of shuffling. Again, we say a riffle, we see a normal shuffle, many different techniques, right? Especially, Arthur has to do that because he used a ton of energy. Camille the same way, because both decks utilize a lot of energy, and you do want to shuffle properly, right? You do want to have this like a really, really nice shuffle. Kind of checking out his first hand, and he might actually start with Victini. With Victini V, he's going for the prize cards. 6 prize, of course, Final Fantasy, right here on the camera as well. We can tell that Camille is a fan of Final Fantasy, the card game, and there is nothing. So we will see a first mulligan from Arta. Again, mulligans don't really hurt Pikarom that much if they can get to the reset stamp on their opponent. We see GX counter, this time being on the other side. Reshizard being played. What I see is 5 energy, Grey Catcher, and okay, there's another mulligan, and Misty's favor, I believe, that is on Camille, in Camille's hand. So that is quite interesting. They are talking, they are chatting, they're having a laugh. Of course, gorgeous 2 playmats, right? to London playmat from London Pokemon Center. Well, you might say that is a rare playmat. Not everyone can have that playmat, and this is definitely his favorite playmat. Not a champion. He doesn't need a champion playmat. He likes that in London, just like Camille likes his own custom one with the old Charmander evolutions, right? So Charmander up until Mega Charizard. Alright, so we see an active. Are we going to see a handshake? That was an additional draw. The GX being swapped to a proper place. There we go. What are we going to see? Was that at the Dene start? Handshake and... oh, another Pikarom start. Right, so we have a Pikarom start from Arta. Victini, big charm already being dropped on the Pikarom. Energy also might be dropped on the Pikarom. There it is. What else did I see? Custom Catcher. I see Pokegear 3.0. I'm not sure about this card on the right side. Okay, there's a Pokegear still. And pass. Oh, nothing. Actually, nothing. That is really unfortunate. Like, that's what I said, right? Of course, Camille has no way to knock out Pikarom right now. But there are certain scenarios where, well, that could have been a Dong if that would be a different Pokemon, like the Dene, like Zapdos, for example, right? Those Jirachi. So those are the options. So we see a Fury Flint, actually, Cherish Ball, Great Catcher, some energy, and a Misty. What I believe. Yep. So he might go for 3 supporters. He might go Cherish Ball for the GX. Let's see. And of course, oh, there we go. We see a Misty being dropped. Nice. That was his only option. So at this point, he had to do it. Welder, and he's browsing. I do apologize to the listeners. He is browsing for the deck, and the last card was Cynthia. Quite interesting, to bring Cynthia like that, and quite interesting, to go this way, not playing for Pokegear 3.0, but that's the way Camille rolls, that's the way Camille plays. He can't play any more supporters. He may attach the energy, but there's also no way of discarding any cards. I mean, yeah, you actually can discard them with Fury Flint and bring them back with Victini's attack. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. Oh, that's a great play. That is a big brain play, you might say, because he is really discarding, going for that energy. And Victini brings up, I believe, up to 2 energy from his first attack for 1 energy. So that's exactly what he's gonna do, probably putting that energy on the Reshizard. But he needs energy underneath Victini V first. So as I said, right, Victini V I would say that the card that not a lot of people actually think about as a good card. Alright, so that was the first attack. You see 2 energy cards being back from discard pile onto Reshizard already, and Arthur puts that Pokegear into whack. He's whacking that Pokegear. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and nothing. That was nothing. He knows he has to play a little bit faster if he wants to win those games. Volkner. So we might see Electromagnetic Radar. energy and... Alright, so we see he's thinking about electromagnetic radar, and it is, right, like that's what you do if you're a Pikarom player. You go for that electromagnetic radar. Energy attached already, not even thinking, and switch Endless Thunder Slap from electromagnetic radar. He's coming back to the deck. The Dene and probably a Choo-Choo, because that is the play for the Pikarom players right now, because they have to have that Choo-Choo. So there's the Dene. Kind of browsing, checking his deck, and down goes Choo-Choo. I'm really curious what else he has in his hand. A nice shuffling technique again. You know, shuffling really important in those matchups, in those games. Alright, Choo-Choo being dropped onto a board. I believe that's a custom catcher, and it is custom catcher for 1. Phione, alright, not a bad draw actually. And the Dene discarding energy switch. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, that's 6. Let's take a look. It might be really good. It might be something that he's gonna need. Let's take a look. I believe that's electro power. I believe that's energy. A skateboard. Ooh, I don't think there's anything there. I do not think it's anything there. Maybe a custom catcher. I'm not sure. And Zora, alright, so he can have a free retreat, which is good for him. I know, was that a Thunder Mountain? I believe just a free retreat just to put Phione front for this and a pass. Wow. Okay, that is a really interesting play. Just to give away 1 prize card. That is a really interesting play right now. Just to give away 1 prize card, and we see. Actually, yeah, discard pile is in a different spot. That was a welder. 4 energies underneath Reshizard right now, and he's drawing 3 cards. Camille just not stopping during that game. Oh, is that a Volcarona? That's a basic for Volcarona GX. 2 basics actually. Oh, he might go for that spread damage. That's quite interesting. He might be thinking next turn spread damage. He is developing his board. Why Arthur is not really doing what Pikarom should do. He's not really attacking yet. So hopefully in this game he's gonna think twice after attacking with Pikarom, if he's gonna even attack with Pikarom, because there might be a great catcher onto Pikarom and knock out next turn with Reshizard. So many options, so many things that he can do. Alright, second energy being dropped on that Victini. Kind of thinking about the Great Catcher. You can see that he's thinking about that Great Catcher. We got mixed herbs. Mixed herbs and great counter to any Pikarom deck that plays Choo-Choo. An amazing counter that not a lot of people play recently, right? You know, you can see that being played in few decks that are not really tier 1 competitive, or in the Reshizard still, but not really in the current standard meta, at least not on Pokemon Trading Card Game Online, not in Katowice, in IRL. I believe only Camille is the one that plays mixed herbs out of all the players here. He's checking out the discard pile, okay. And he's thinking, should I actually go for that Great Catcher? He's really thinking about that Great Catcher there. Should I go for Great Catcher? And we don't blame him for thinking, because this is a really tough turn. If only there was a Shrine of Punishment. That was a 60 damage right onto a Phione, and the game has just begun. That's a third energy being dropped. We see a custom catcher in Arthur's hand. There was an escape board as well, so he might actually retreat Phione if he wants to. Oh, he just used the switch. Okay. But that's still 60 damage on the Phione. Oh, and Phione is being used. That might be is that a mistake? Okay, he is explaining how Phione worked. He has to switch. Phione goes down at the bottom of the deck. That might actually be a bit of a mistake, maybe not. We see the big charm onto Pikarom, but... Okay, Electro Power. It's gonna be custom catcher just to draw the additional 2 cards. Like, he desperately needs those draws. He knows he needs those draws desperately. We see a Zapdos. Alright, custom catcher. Are we gonna see maybe a Thunder Mountain, maybe something else, maybe actually just an attack and charging that Choo-Choo on the bench? Oh, he's thinking, he is thinking, you can feel it, you can really feel the thinking. Energy switch. Oh, okay, so we're gonna see an attack with a Zapdos, so leaving a one-price attacker, so he got a little bit scared of that Reshizard and what that Reshizard can actually do with 300 damage, and the first prize card in this game goes to Arthur. So definitely he got scared of that 300 damage of the Welder and what Welder can do to the Pikarom. Draw, so maybe that Victini was a mistake. We don't know. Well, we kind of know right now because we know Camille's hand. He had no clue what he had in his hand, but he should have thought about it. We see Volcarona GX, so we're gonna see some damage going through. Alright, Camille's thinking, is that a switch in his hand that he's thinking about? Because he had a card in his right hand. And no, that's a Welder, actually, that's a Welder. So 6 energy underneath Reshizard. So the read from Arthur was right that he might have it. And he might swipe that Pikarom, but Camille does have that great catcher, so he still might swipe and get rid of that Pikarom if he wants to, which would be a devastating for Arthur. Is this going to be the play today for Camille? Is that going to be something he's going to do? Energy from hand onto a Victini. That's 120 damage, so Zapdos is gonna get knocked out. Let's take a look, and it's a knockout, and he knocks out Zapdos. Right, so not really attacking with Reshizard. He's preserving that Reshizard, and now Arthur is in trouble. He drew the card per turn. There are some troubles. That's an energy for Choo-Choo. He knows. Alright, that's a Thunder Mountain being dropped. So, of course, the attack costs 1 less of Lightning type for the electric type Pokemons. So, what can he do? 150 damage energy on Choo-Choo. Oh, that is not enough. That is definitely not enough. But, well, this is closer to the GX of the Choo-Choo, definitely. But Camille can just retreat and now use the GX of Reshizard to knock out that Pikarom and get those 3 prize cards. That would put him down into 2. So if he would knock out the Dene later, then he has that double. He has the win, right? So, and you can see he's preserving that Great Catcher. He's having that Great Catcher still in his hand just in case something can happen. What a great move. And the skateboard, of course, underneath the Dene for the free treat cost on the Dene, just in case. So he will be acrobike, so he'll be able to use the full potential of the Choo-Choo. So acrobike, Church Ball, and Volcanion. And let's take a look. I'm browsing, checking his hand. What is gonna be best card? And he's going for Volcanion and discarding that Cherish Ball, which is not a bad play actually, because he doesn't really need another GX, right? That is not what he wants. Not what he wants to see. Are we gonna see a retreat and a knockout? Are we gonna see that? 34 minutes on the clock right now. Getting closer. If this game gonna go onto Camille's side, we might actually see, well, tie or maybe a win later in the third game with only a few minutes left, maybe even seconds left. But let's not say anything about the future, because we don't know what's gonna happen. That Camille can actually, or Arthur can actually win that game right now. Maybe not right now, but in few turns, depending on Camille's turn. Let's not go ahead of ourselves. That's what I wanted to say. Mixed herbs. Kamil's really thinking about those mixed herbs. Like, he really wants to play. Judge, this time one winged actually, just came, just adjusted those dices, and of course, you know, there are some players that are finishing the game right now during that round. All right, energy. Are we gonna see those mixed herbs? I mean, that's a little bit of a stalling from Kamil's side. I must admit that there's a little bit of a stalling. And then Cherish Ball. Checking his deck, browsing what else he has. Does he have, you know, Victini Prism. Oh, he's going for another Reshizard. That's a really interesting play, because, you know, he might actually just focus on bringing back the energy straight onto that second of Reshizard. But he also has a switch. He has those mixed herbs. I think he has the number of the Pikarom. I do feel that he has number of the Pikarom. Or maybe he wants to go for the Dene. There's another option. He's thinking about that great catcher. You can see that. You can clearly see that he's thinking. And is he going to play? Like, he is really thinking about that great catcher. And it is a great catcher. On the Zeraora. That's Kamil's decision, definitely. 2 prize cards. I'm going to go for him. Discarding 2 cards. Retreat and just a normal attack, probably. That's a Cynthia. And just a normal attack, probably, from Reshizard for 230 damage. So he's preserving that GX. That's what I would think. But this is Kamil. He is playing the way that no other player plays. So definitely, you know, some interesting turns up ahead, or definitely interesting plays up ahead. Let's take a look. So the judge just informed that they do have 8 minutes left on the clock. They're gonna have to speed things up with 8 minutes left on the clock. Mixed herbs back into his hand. Energy. I believe Giant Herf as well. Yep, it is Giant Herf. Pokemon Communication Pokegear 3.0. Is this going to be the time for the retreat? I mean, he had a switch, right? So he could have used that switch before Cynthia, but still, there are options for him now. It's really easy to retreat that Victini, because he has that energy, and he does that. He retreats Victini, and he does play that Reshizard. There we go, the big boy. If that were wrestling, someone would say the big dog. The big dog just came to the board with 6 energies underneath. And 230. Alright, that was a 230 damage actually incoming, so no GX. So kind of right now on 3 prize cards. Thunder Mountain is still here, but whatever happens, you know, that is a GX. Even if we're gonna see Choo Choo being played, Kamil has the answer. Kamil has those mixed herbs as an answer. But Arthur doesn't know that. He doesn't know that he's trying. Oh, that might be that was a great play for Kamil, because he just set up. But at the same time, if Arthur finds something as simple as, well, Electro Power, the game might actually, you know, come to this interesting place, but he has to find Electro Power. He's using the Coco, so we will see energy right there. 1 energy onto Pikarom, 1 energy on the Choo Choo. So Choo Choo fully charged, Pikarom ready to go. We will see the retreat definitely. Thunder Mountain doesn't care, but I believe there is just no Electro Power. Oh, there is no Electro Power in his hand. There's no top deck, so he has to go for the paralysis. But little does he know that Kamil actually does have. He does have that. Oh my goodness. Kamil has that mixed herbs. Oh, he missed. Like, that would be a great, second game if he would be able to get that top deck electro power. But there was no electro power for him. Even Giant or Big Charm would not help. Let's take a look. What Camel's gonna do? He's just stalling it. He's going for it. He's going for it. And that is going to be it. That's all she wrote for this game. And oh, Mr. Camille, come on! You know you have that W. There's just nothing that can happen. Or are you going for that GX? He is still going for the welder. Or maybe he's not even realized that he has the win. He might not realize that he has a win. He might not realize that he has 300 damage. He's looking at it, but he might not realize it. Oh, this is interesting. This is really interesting. Is he going like I'm like, what is going on? And that's the game. That is the game. He realized that. Finally, he realized that. Really intense game. Unfortunately, there was just no electro power for Arta. So we do have 1-1 in games, and we do have around 5 minutes on the clock. So right now 4 minutes, actually I was informed 4 minutes, sorry. So that has to be super fast. Judges are telling that, hey, if you want to, you have to play a little bit faster. In 4 minutes, I don't think both players can win. But as I said, right, this is a Pikarom deck. Pikarom deck may actually dong the Camille. So Arthur decides to go second. We can hear that. Arthur decides to go second. He is counting on a dong. You can see he is rushing it. He is counting on a dong, and he has to do it. Like, he has to count on that. There's just no other way in 3 turns, in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Let's take a look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what he's gonna draw. That was a rhyme, and that was a good rhyme. There is an active Pokemon. I believe that was a Jirachi. Both players are speeding things up. Finally they're speeding things up. But now, oh, that's a Victini. That's a Victini Prism. That might actually work. That idea of a dong might actually work. If that's a Victini, and if Arthur has the tools to do it. So that's a handshake, and let's check it out. So we got a Choo Choo as an active, and we got a Victini Prism. But a Camel has a Tag Call, so he might actually put something onto a bench. Oh, okay, and he put something onto a bench, so we might actually not see a dong. And you can hear Arthur just saying that the option of a dong just went straight out of the window. Camel just threw it out the window for him. But, well, that's something, that is something that happens sometimes. So we got a Choo Choo, and I think that game might come to the draw. Well, maybe not. Now, Camille, well, there's still something called termination. Those are 3 termination turns. So Camille might actually pick up win if Arthur is not going to get anything on his side of the board as well. Of course, down goes Heat Factory. He's going to produce some heat from that factory, and he is producing it with that 1 Fire-type energy. What is he getting? Fire Crystal, Fire-type energy, and I believe that was a Giant Hearth. We got an energy being put from hand. And we can hear Kovac right there. You can see it. You can see her in the top left corner right now. Now all the players. This is the last table in that tournament. That's a draw. Let's go. That's a draw. That's an energy. Are we going to say... Like, if Arthur has all the tools for the dong, that would be so funny right now. So let's take a look. Quick Ball onto a Volkner. You can see him speeding things up. Electro Power. And a Volkner. So what he's doing, he's going for the baby card, for the basic. And he's also playing a Volkner. So let's take a look. We got 1 minute left. So we got a Zapdos. We're gonna have Electromagnetic Radar probably and an Energy. He is speeding things up. Like, Arthur knows that he has to pass the turn before the 0 turn of termination, just to buy himself this 1 extra turn, to buy himself, this one extra thing. So there will be no... Okay, that was Electromagnetic Radar also played. So let's go. We got a... Is that a Dedenne? Yes, that is a Dedenne. And are we going to see a Pikarom? Are we going to see... we're seeing a Zeraora right now. So that's the Zeraora. We see 30 seconds on the clock. There is going to be a countdown quite soon. You can see he is playing super fast. He played Yeah, 20 seconds left. That's what Judge said. Energy. That's a custom catcher. Draw. Oh, he is just speeding things up. Look at that. That's a pure speed electro power. The Dene. 10 seconds on the clock before the first turn of termination. What we can see, that's a switch. 3, 2, 1, knockout. Okay, so now knockout, and we see the 0 turn of termination right now. It's on Kamil's side. So that was a super fast turn for Arthur, but can he actually pull it off? So now they can relax. Now they can play a little bit slower. But that was, a great idea to actually knock out before the 0 turn is gonna happen, right? So right down, like 1 second left on the clock, and he did that. Those are the games we do love on this channel. Those are the games that we do love right till the very end. But the more Kamil is gonna play, the more likely this is going to end up as a draw, and it might end up as a draw. We'll see. There are still 0 turn right on Kamil's side, then it's 1 auto, second is on Kamil's side, and the third finish is on Arthur's side. So they just have to think about that. They both have 2 turns now to win the game, but I don't think both of them can do it in 2 turns. I really don't think so. I don't feel that this is possible for the both players, even though if Reshizard is powerful card, he needs 4 turns to knock out everything on the outer side, and out the same thing, he would need a fully active Pikarom with 6 energies to even start thinking about anything, and this is not even that easy. All the players around them, that is the game that everyone wanted to see. We see a switch. Let's take a look. Kamila is looking at Cynthia. So they're talking about, how it goes, what they have in hands. Like right now they're just talking like, hey, listen, I have this, you have this. Can this actually happen? And of course, if you want to get and purchase yourself some fresh cards, use a TCG player. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to all the channels on the left side that you see right here. So Kamil's still playing there. You can feel they both want to win. They both desperately want to win. They do need that win in that tournament, because that's a table number 1, and tables number 1 always really interesting. Alright, Kamil actually attached 2 instead of 1 energy. Arthur just saying like, hey, there should be a game loss. The game loss for that, because he wants that W, but that's not how it goes sometimes. Maybe a prize penalty, but the prize penalty would not work. Oh, he goes great catcher for the Dene, and the Dene is gonna get knocked out. So Kamil taking 2 prize cards. Oh, this is really interesting. That's knockout turn 1 on Arthur's side. And I think this is now the moment where they are starting, to realize that, well, this is not going to happen. There's just no way they can pull off the win. That might end up in a tie. And if it's going to... Oh, there's a judge with the dice. That's at turn number 1. And I will say, just, if you want to subscribe to this channel, do that, because we have more games coming. We got more Pokemon trading card game content, which is really good and really nice. So the players do talk like, hey, what you got in hand? Like, they know each other's hand right now. It's like, okay, listen, I only have this Pokegear 3.0. If I'm gonna have it, I might think about something, but there's literally nothing I can do. And after thinking, Kamil said that there's nothing that he can do next turn to win, because that would be his last turn. There's no way for him to still trying, but there's, from my perspective right now, there's just no way he can win that game. So I think that's gonna be thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like that. That's what I believe is gonna happen right now. Are we gonna see a handshake? And it is. That's a handshake. That's a draw. That is a draw. Good game. Good game. Good game. Subscribe to the channel.